Nick J. Francis channel, welcome back, people. Arsenal just won 1-0 against Crystal Palace away, and it was a horrible, horrible performance. I'm not going to lie. We had to grind out that performance. It was unnecessary. So much of what we're doing is unnecessary at this moment in time. The way that we're playing, I don't know, man. Defensively, creatively, it's just not quite clicking. Now, the positives first. You know what I mean? We're only three teams have 100% record so far, winning both games. Us, Man City, Brighton. That's where we want to be in the top three teams. We want to be putting a title challenge forward this season. That's exactly where we need to be. So that is a positive. You know what I'm saying? We're able to grind out results, but you would expect grinding out results towards the end of the season. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not really happy about seeing us grinding out results like that this early in the season. Do you know what I'm saying? This is the same Crystal Palace team we beat 3-0 last season, and we are a better team. On paper, we're a better team this season than we were last season. So how is the result going so far backwards? Tomiyasu, obviously a little bit unfortunate with the red card. Um, and we were fortunate with the penalty. Do you know what I mean? I think Eddie Nketiah again showing us that he can't really lead us to success. He can't. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good striker off the bench and filling in here and there. Europa League games, obviously now it's the Champions League for us, but to be starting, obviously I know Jesus is injured. It's not ideal. We didn't sign Eddie to be that guy, but letting Balogun go, we've we've at least seen what Eddie can do. We've seen a little bit of what Havertz can do. We haven't even seen what Balogun can do since he had that amazing season last year. So it's really disappointing. Like, the things I'm seeing, concentration lapses is tough. Now, Crystal Palace played really well. Do you know what I'm saying? They sat deep, they defended. It was down to us to break them down. And we did start doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? When the penalty came, it wasn't just a little bit of luck. We were starting to knock on the door. We were starting to put a bit of pressure on Crystal Palace, and they were struggling. Do you know what I'm saying? They were really, really struggling. And so, a penalty or something like that was always going to happen. It was inevitable, really. But, the penalty was taken really well. I thought it was a really smart move. I thought Odegaard to me, didn't have a great game. He didn't have a great game at all up until the penalty moment. And I think it was really smart. Johnston looked at his notes, and don't know if any of you lot didn't see the game, but Johnston kind of looked at his notes, looked at Saka, and sort of looked like, I've been researching you. I know where you're going to go. So Saka and Odegaard switched. Odegaard took the penalty, and then Johnston looked really nervous and looked like, I don't know what's about to happen here. And that gave Odegaard a lot of confidence. Obviously, he went and slapped that goal home. Really, really well taken penalty. But, the red card obviously changed things as they're going to do. Suddenly they're attacking us. But I'm just not happy, man. I know they're two different situations. The Nottingham Forest game and this game are two totally different situations. But that's twice that we've won games for the last 10, 15 minutes. We're on the back foot. We're defending for our lives. And that's not where we want to be. That is something to me that we need to change. Now, Forest is a little bit different to the Crystal Palace game. You know what it is? We look like Man United. Like Man United's first game against Wolves. That's exactly what we look like. Do you know what I'm saying? Erdegaard on the ball is so good, but sometimes he doesn't get on the ball enough. I don't want to say he's hiding. Hiding is a little bit strong, but he needs to impose himself from earlier in the game. Kai Havertz, very, very similar. When he gets the ball, does simple little passes, keeps the ball ticking. He's got some ability. You can see that. But we're still not sure what he is. Do you know what I'm saying? He didn't do anything outstanding today. He didn't do anything particularly well today. Do you know what I'm saying? He doesn't give us enough in terms of goals. He doesn't give us enough in terms of tackles. He doesn't give us enough in terms of creativity. He's just a six all around. So for £65 million, I'm really, really wondering where that money's gone. Eddie, very, very similar. Again, he causes lots of problems. And to be fair to Eddie, when he's not scoring goals, he is, he's doing lots of other stuff. He's closing, he's pressing, he's making tackles, he's putting himself about. Like, I rate that highly, but we need goals. You're a striker, you still have to get goals. There was just when we started to cook and start creating opportunities, there was a ball slip through for Eddie, and it was not an easy chance, but 4 yards out in the 6 yard box. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be hitting the target. He goes for a flick over the top, and I don't know how much of that is Jesus is quite a silky player, how much he's trying to be silky so that he can compete with Jesus, and how much, it just didn't seem like it was very him. I know he's capable of doing that sort of thing. I know we've seen him do it in England under 21s, but it's the Premier League. This is starting 11 football. We've got to slap that home. Do you know what I'm saying? You're better off. My message to him is you're better off doing the simple finish and getting 4, 5, 6 goals of simple finishes than one or two flashy goals. Do you know what I mean? Arteta's going to look at numbers and not how the goal is scored is for the fans. But for the gaffer, he's not even looking at that. He just wants numbers on the board. Numbers on the board is what we need. Do you know what I'm saying? And similar to Nottingham Forest, man. You know what I mean? We scored 3 in the Nottingham Forest game, but we were struggling. It was 2-1 actually, and we were struggling. We were under pressure towards the end, and we're looking at Manchester City putting teams to the sword, and that's exactly what we need to be doing. I will say that when Arteta made those changes late, Gabriel came on, Kivior came on, Zinchenko came on. We had all our defenders. We had no attacking players. We had all defenders and midfielders. But you can really see the technical. When Kai Havertz is playing with those players, you can see the technical ability because we were popping the ball around. We completely. We didn't do it too much. We didn't really go for goal too much because we didn't want to risk conceding that late on. So it was sensible, but they really couldn't get near that ball. Which I'm saying, once we brought on all the technicians and we took off the dribblers, the Sakas, the Martinellis, the Erdegards, we took off those guys and we brought on, I think Erdegaard was still on to be fair, but we had all of the real technical players on the pitch at one time. Wow, what I'm saying? Like, their man could not get near us at all. Do you know what I mean? So we need a striker. Do you know what I'm saying? The window's still open. I don't know if we're going to look for a striker. I don't think that we are because this is Arsenal. Do you know what I'm saying? They're going to want to try and win titles or win Champions Leagues, muddling through without paying too much bread in certain players. And it's difficult to complain because we've got Declan Rice for 100 mil. Do you know what I'm saying? We've got Havertz, which none of us asked for 65 mil. I think a lot of us would have rather that money go towards a striker. So I'm saying, we should have maybe renewed Xhaka's contract and given him a contract, and I'm not, and you got a striker. I'm not seeing a big difference. I'm not seeing a big improvement between what Granit Xhaka was doing last season and what Kai Havertz has done so far. It's only 2 games in. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. I want to see Kai do well. I want to see this team lift some silverware. And Saka, a little bit quiet. It was tough. It was tough. It was a really, really difficult game today. Credit to Crystal Palace for making it difficult because, like I say, they're compact. They're very difficult to break down. We know what the game's going to be when we go and play against Palace. That's the thing. Like, it's difficult. I understand it's difficult, but we knew that going in. We should have had a game plan to deal with that and to create opportunities. We didn't really create much. And when we did, we had Eddie, and it was wasteful. And it's just really, really frustrating. Like, I can imagine being an Erdegaard or a Declan Rice. Declan Rice looked really good today, to be fair. One of the shining lights looked really, really good today in a team that, even though they won the game, underperformed. I thought Declan Rice looked really strong. But it's frustrating when you do create a chance against a really solid defensive block like Crystal Palace, and then your fucking striker just hits it over the bar. Like, he's got to do more. He's got to be more sensible. He's got to be more mature. His mentality is very mature off the pitch, and I rate him for that. But his football is very immature on the pitch. We need to see better. We need to be seeing much better from Eddie Nketiah. To be fair, Jesus out for a long time. Some games Havertz is going to play. I prefer Havertz up top. I don't know if we should have gone back to that. Havertz up top, go long to Havertz, knock it down, and have creative players around him. That maybe that's better. And Eddie seems to be getting minutes out of loyalty. He won the penalty, to be fair. Quick taking free kick, and he's always going to run. His legs are his best attribute, but he just, in terms of goals and in front of goal, that's not where he's strongest. And this team, we're going to waste years on this team, especially when everybody's fit. When Jesus is fit, when Jurriën Timber, who I thought was, one of the best players in all the minutes that I've seen him on the pitch, he's been one of the best players pre-season, Man City, everything. When everybody's fit and back, Tierney as well, everybody, a really solid 20-25 goal season striker could win us the league. They really could, because this team's that good. City's still better than us, 100%, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility for us to go and win big trophies if we have that type of striker, as well as a Jesus who can do the link up kind of Firmino and then an out and out 9 bagsman. We just don't seem to want that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I can't work out why. It's tough, but listen, like I say, the thing is, people might look at this video and think, why is this guy being negative? You just won. What a negative way to view the game. But when we go and play top 6 teams with that type of performance, when we played Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest are a team who are, most bookies' favourite to be just outside the relegation zone. Crystal Palace, bottom half of the table, safe, but bottom half of the table. When we go and play top 6 teams, we can't play this type of football. We're going to have to take a lot more initiative. And there were too many players that were quiet today. Martinelli was fairly quiet. Saka had a lot of the ball, but was in a good battle against Mitchell. Erdegaard was quiet until his penalty. Like I said, Rice was good. Havertz quiet. Some of our best players today were our defensive players, and that's when you're playing against Crystal Palace. I know it's Crystal Palace away, Selhurst Park is a difficult place to go, but you want your attacking players to be those guys. You want multiple attacking players to be man of the match. For the man of the match today, it's weird. You might have to go Eddie. He ran, he created the opportunity he fluffed his lines a couple times, but then he won us the penalty as well. I think Tomiyasu's red was a poor decision. I think not giving Eze a yellow card for diving was a really poor decision. There's some poor decisions today, but ultimately, decisions or not, you slap the ball in the net 3, 4 times in a game, the game's won. Do you know what I'm saying? And we have the players and the ability to do that. Do you know what I mean? When the ball falls outside of our front three and it falls to the edge of the box to our midfield, we've got Havertz, Declan Rice, and Erdegaard. All three of those are capable of hitting a shot on target from the edge of the box. We're not seeing that enough. If Saka and Martinelli are not winning their one-on-ones like today, use them as decoy runners and let's get some shots off. Let's test this keeper. Johnston, respect him, he made a couple of good saves, but he's not a top-class keeper. He's not a top-class keeper at all. Partey header shot straight at him, and he hit it with so much power. He tipped it over, and Ketty had one or two tipped over. I think Erdegaard had one really good save from the keeper, tipped over, but they were all quite straight. Yeah, I feel like if we kept doing that for more of the game, we win the game by more. At the end of the day, coming towards the end of the season, it could come down to goal difference. It could come down to not results like this, but it could come down to goal difference. It could be that close, and the team needs to be confident. When we go in and play top 6 teams, we've got Man United next. We're going to have to be confident. They look poor, but they will step up to play us. Do you know what I mean? 100%. And if we can beat them, that will give us a huge confidence boost. So we have to be going into these games ready in the flow of, we scored 2 against Forest, fine. We scored 1 against Palace today. I'm not really happy with that. We've got, for us, we will probably concede against Manchester United with the players that they've got, probably. And if we're going to concede against Forest, we're probably going to concede against Man United. We're not going to win that game without scoring 3 or 4 goals. Do you know what I mean? We can't win that 1-0. It's going to have to be 3 or 4 goals. Same as last season, 3-1 at their ground, 3-1 at our ground. That's what it's going to have to be. And so when I'm looking negatively at this game, it's not just about this game. We won 3 points and today was fine. We ground out a tough result, a tough place to go, but we are going to have to do a lot more if we're going to go win the big games, win the big trophies. But listen, always supporting the club, always supporting the players. Hopefully, Arteta's got a plan. He's very, very meticulous. So if there is something I'm not seeing, I'm sure he's seeing it. And, listen, man, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Do you know what I mean? We're going to be bringing you much more football content, much more boxing content, my boy Shane as well. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe and keep it locked in, man. Nick J. Francis, I'm out.